Hey guys, welcome back to Planet J Judah. Today we are doing a Who Did It Best Food Festival Theme Park Edition Spring Food Festival. And we did, I was going to say trifecta, but it's actually four.
We did four.
We did four.
All four in
We
Southern California.
Started with Knott's Taste of Boysenberry. Then we went to Universal, Taste of Universal. Little ticket there. Touch of Disney came next. And I will put in a picture of the food card or dining card that we got, right? Card. Yep. Now, Daryl's texting me. Great. And then finally we went to SeaWorld for the 7 Seas, and which is where we started the discussion, who did it best, and then decided, hey, let's do it on video. Have a little line.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to find that card because I'm pretty sure it's.
Oh, I have a picture I'm going to insert. Or should have already inserted.
I can't find it.
It's okay. I've inserted the card, but here, cheers.
Cheers.
Alrighty, so on our way home from the SeaWorld Food Festival, we were starting to discuss who did it best, and then realized, hey, it would make a great video, so here we are. And as you saw last week, we got to go back to Disney for the grand reopening, so we have a little bit of insight for that as well.
And I have Knott's Berry Farm, because I did Knott's Berry Farm
Yeah.
on a Thursday.
So when we were coming home and I started to discuss what I thought who did it best or whatever, I was like, not everyone, everyone had their high points, everyone had their low points. As far as for me, the food, who did it best, I felt Knott's did it best. They had the most creativity, I want to say the best portions.
Yeah.
Because their portions for a tasting was amazing. And then just being there, the atmosphere was very laid back and easy. Now, as far as ordering, I want to say Touch of Disney did it best because we did mobile ordering, had it all done right when we got there, had the whole day planned out. We were able to also change the times for when we were going to go pick up our order, and that was talk about easy. We were done within seconds as opposed to waiting in lines, and each line was not that bad. Now granted, it was a very low capacity. I can't say how many people were there, but that could have a major effect on it, but that was really easy. For me, Universal was probably my favorite, only because I haven't been to Universal in so long, and we got to go down to the lower lot, which at the beginning they weren't doing. So I got to see Jurassic World, which I had not ever seen. I hadn't even seen the original Jurassic Park, so I wasn't, that was my first time seeing that. And then of course, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Come on. My first time seeing that was amazing. Now, 7 Seas at SeaWorld, I don't think I was really impressed. The only thing that kept it going was the fact that we got to see the different shows. The food was the tiramisu was amazing. It was creamy. It was really good. It was a classic tiramisu, and I loved it. Didn't love, what was it? The nachos.
No, those were not good at all.
It was brisket nachos, and literally it was squares of fat. I don't even know if any of them really had any meat on them, so that was just ugh.
And she can insert picture.
Yeah. It was gross. Just there you go. It was gross. But like I said, the tiramisu was amazing. The lamb chop at the end was amazing. But seeing the different shows and the walkthrough, that's what made SeaWorld good. I will say SeaWorld had the most tastings because it had 18. We were able to get 18. Without an annual pass, you can get 15, but because our friends that took us got the tasting card, we got 18 tastings, so that was amazing.
Each?
Yeah, we could have we shared this one pass, or this one thing. Whereas Taste of Knott's was 5 per person, and then same thing with Universal, it was 5, and the card from Touch of Disney was a $25 gift card basically per person. So that's where Disney was, because in just one meal you spend over half of that, so you really don't get the benefit, whereas all the other ones we had an abundance of food. I don't know, what What was your thoughts on
Well, if we go with Knott's, I'll start off with Knott's. That one, as Knott's progressed with their touch or taste of calico and following Mary
Mary
Farm,
Farm?
which we didn't get to go to, but we did get to taste some of their stuff because they did open up the part, the calico part, a little bit during. And then obviously then the taste of boysenberry fest. They progressively got $5 more per.
The food tastings were,
It was it 40, 45?
I think it started out at this one. The boysenberry was 45.
Was 45. So boysenberry was $45. We got 5 tasting, and Jules and I combined, and with each of the Knott's ones, we actually looked up the menu of what we wanted to do, and we had a printout,
A list.
a guidelines more or less to follow along. So as we shared, that was 10 options
And we chose to purchase our drinks
separately.
instead of using the tasting card for Knott's.
Or not. And this, just a segue, the wine that we're having, this is Stella Rosa Black, and I have, in honor of the Boysenberry Festival, Taste of Boysenberry, they had a
Wine float. Champagne
it
float.
was a champagne float with boysenberry ice cream, and it was really good. So there's ice cream in there. So we're having wine.
You can see the ice cream.
There's ice cream in there, so we're doing it's a fancy thing now to do. So that's in honor of, and so that was, and they had already done 4 before that, so they had it down pretty good.
Yep.
And then we did Universal next, and so I will say this: as far as the food goes for Knott's, the portions were huge.
Yes. And by the time we got done with it, we didn't even finish using.
Yeah.
I mean, we did. We used
did.
every tasting. We just didn't
We were
necessarily eat every tasting.
Right.
We took some of it home.
So this will probably never happen again because they're not going to need to do that because we're all open with COVID is going away, and so things will be opening up, and we'll never experience this ever again. Hopefully. But if they were ever to do this again, you want to bring baggies. But
yeah, definitely bring.
especially for Knott's because there was lots of food. But they were just, it was really good. And then we went to Universal, and the amazing thing about Universal, I think it was $55.
Yes.
For the 5 tastes, and it was just it was Universal food. It was nothing like Taste of Boysenberry Festival, which is special boysenberry food. It was just their normal food. So we had, and what made it perfect or memorable is the fact that we could do Wizarding World of Harry Potter, which I haven't been, because I used to be a pass holder, so it's been about almost a year and a half, almost 2 years since I was. So getting to experience Wizarding World of Harry Potter with a very limited amount of guests in the park, it was like we had the whole land to ourselves.
Yeah, that was amazing.
And that was something I've never experienced because each time I've gone, it's been crowded. So
and that was my first experience, was to see it empty.
So she was spoiled, and she's going to have a rude awakening. For me, it was so fun just being able to have space, and so that was really good. And the food was really good. We had their fish and chips, which was delicious.
Yes.
Frozen
butterbeer.
We had frozen butterbeer, and we had the butterbeer ice cream.
Yes.
Which was more of like a hint of butterbeer ice cream. Yeah. It was like vanilla with a little hint of butterbeer. But it was still really good. And just being inside, because for Universal, at that point, California had just opened up to indoor eating again. Yes. So we were able to dine inside at the Three Broomsticks, which was fun.
Yes.
Because that atmosphere is really cool.
It is.
And
the theming was.
It's really fun. And then we got to eat inside, chose to go to Krusty's Burger, whatever that, I'm sorry, I'm not a Simpsons fan. But we did eat there because I've never eaten there and as a pass holder. So we got to eat in the restaurant there, and it was a lot of fun. And they had a deal going on where if you buy
2 get 1 free
soda,
bottled drinks,
something like that. It was a really good deal.
Yeah.
So
and it was perfect for us because there was 3 of us.
Yeah. So that was really neat. And then, like I said, the fact that the restaurants had just opened up probably a or 2 before made it extra cool because the previous tastings for the Universal, those guests didn't get. So that was something that was fun. And then move over to, it was a touch of Disney. So with Touch of Disney, I'll be honest, my expectations were low because it was only $25, and there was three of us going, so we had $75 between the three of us to buy food.
Which we were able to extend thanks to
Me, because my husband is a cast member, so we had cast member discount. So anything in the restaurants, we got 20% off. So that made it actually better.
yes,
So it
extended our dollar.
Our $75 probably went to 90. So that was really. I obviously but we never cast members never got discounts at the marketplace, which are the non-restaurant places,
like the food booth.
the food booth. We never got the discount for that during the Food and Wine Festival that Disney would have at DCA. We get discounts on the Ben Saver card, so that's where our discount. So it was nice getting the discount at all the restaurants, and the fact that we could mobile order left us with a lot of free time.
Oh, big time.
Because at the Taste of Boysenberry Festival and the Taste of Universal, we spent a lot of time in lines to get the food.
Right.
So that mobile ordering, which actually was a good thing, because I was a little unsure about that, gave us a lot of free time because there was no waiting in line. We were walking around. And when I was so far away from wherever we were at and we were going to eat, hey, I'm here. And then we go there and get our food. Then it was the Seven Seas at SeaWorld. And Touch of Disney was $75.
Yes.
It was $75, but you got $25 worth of food and the parking.
Parking, which is 25.
Which is 25, but
and then photo card.
We got the photo
pass.
The photo pass, that was a plus two for the Touch of Disney. And then the Sevens, it was 50. No,
it was 81.
It was 81 for their tasting card.
Yeah, that was just the tasting card.
That was just the tasting card, which had 15 tastings in it.
Right.
We were blessed by my longtime friend Kelly and her husband Peter, the Valanzias. They are pass holders, and so they actually had two guest passes.
That's what got us in.
That's what got us in, and I said yes. When she texted me, we were doing something else. We were filming, actually.
Touch of Disney, I think.
No. We were filming the Black Dahlia tour.
Oh, that's right.
So we were filming the Black Dahlia tour, heading to Universal to get frozen butterbeer because it was really hot that day. And I get a text message from Kelly World, and I said yes. So that's how we got to do that. But we did have to buy our tasting card separate. So for the SeaWorld, you had to buy your entrance and buy a tasting card separate, like they used to do for the Food and Wine Festival at Disney and Boysenberry Festival at Knott's Berry Farm.
And that's because at the time
they were open.
SeaWorld was open because it was a zoo. So it was, but when we went, you were actually able to go on a ride.
I went on my first roller coaster in 13 months. And it was so exciting. It was the electric eel, which you had to have your mask on. So I had my mask, and I was terrified because the mask I had was a mask that I purchased for work from Under Armour. It's a really awesome mask, but I did with the shipping and handling. It was a $30 mask and $10 for shipping. So it's like a $40 mask. I know, crazy. But if you have to wear something for even more than an hour, you want it to be comfortable and not on your face. So to me, it's worth it. That's the mask I wore, and it did slip down. And so my hands went automatically up to my face to keep my mask up on my face. I did not want to lose that mask.
No.
Anyways, so there, those are, I'm sorry, I keep looking at the tickets. So those were all of the things. But out of the four, Disney, with their mobile ordering, you didn't have to wait in line. The other three, you did have that line waiting. So, I mean, and it wasn't bad.
And to be fair, the Touch of Disney and Universal, it was their food that you would normally get. It wasn't anything special, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Taste of Boysenberry was, which is probably where the creativity came. Because, I mean, it was barbecue boysenberry sauce. I mean, barbecue brisket with boysenberry, something. I mean, everything had boysenberry in it,
Mm-hmm.
so that made it a little bit more creative. So that's where they had the edge, just
Mm-hmm.
a little bit. But I loved it all. I will say the food wise, it would for me in order would be Knott's, Disney, Universal, SeaWorld.
Yeah, I probably agree.
No offense to SeaWorld, their tastings it could have been just a bad day when we went.
Sure.
That the brisket that we had was just all fat.
All fat,
I mean, it was literally
like me.
all fat. No, like me. And the portion sizes. I didn't even show one of the things that I got because it was such a small portion size. And I was like, oh, well, but then again, we had 18 to choose from, you
Right.
know.
That
And
was-
had we each gotten our own,
Oh gosh.
we would have had 18 each on our own.
That's a
We
lot.
ended up using a lot of our tastings at SeaWorld for water
Yes.
and soda. So, I mean, it balanced out. We didn't buy any drinks extra. I don't.
We did at the beginning.
did, yeah,
And
it
then
was-
Peter, if you're watching this, you scolded us.
Yes,
and
you
so-
did. It was like, don't.
Don't. So we
Don't.
did. I started
we,
using
we
it.
got the hand slap.
we used the tastings on beverages.
Yep.
So that
Which I would
why not?
suggest doing because
Yeah.
actually by the time you're done with the day, probably not been able to eat everything
Mm-mm.
and use all of the tastings. So
Yep.
if you're only going that one day, definitely use it for water, soda, whatever beverage of choice. I mean, we were also able to use it on alcoholic beverages.
Yes. Oh, there we go. Alcohol. Knott's. You had 5 tastings. 2 can be on alcohol
Yeah.
beverages.
Yes.
You can use your tastings on all food. You can use your tastings on all beverages, but,
But
only
only
2
2.
could be
Yeah.
alcohol. Universal,
No alcohol. You can use it on beverages, but they had to be non-alcoholic.
Disneyland, same thing. $25 was only non-alcoholic
Alcohol.
beverages.
Right.
The Seven Seas, we had 18 thanks to Kelly and Peter, and
We could have used all of
All
it.
18 on alcohol. And-
And we could have been
you could have been.
needing to be like wheeled out of there. But obviously we did not do that.
And there was a difference when you bought at Knott's
Mm-hmm.
and the and SeaWorld. If you bought an alcoholic beverage,
It was bigger.
It was bigger. And then if you used your tasting, it was a little smaller.
Smaller.
But when you say smaller, I would say it was at least 4 ounces, or 4 or 6 ounces, where the other one was probably an 8 ounce.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not like they were being very, very skimpy.
No.
It wasn't. But when you used it on a tasting, it was definitely a
Smaller portion.
of alcohol.
A smaller glass.
Just a smaller glass.
But all
It's
in
a
all, they were
tasting.
really good. Yep.
So, and the fact that we could use our cards, our punches on alcohol, which was nice. That was nice.
Yeah, so that would be a benefit for
That was a
that'd
benefit.
be a plus. That would be a plus for
Knott's and
SeaWorld.
SeaWorld on that. If you're an alcohol drinker,
right. No, you did not until just now.
you almost thought I was going to, but I didn't.
So now that the parks are opened up, I believe all California parks have opened.
Yeah.
At
It's
this
Knott's,
point.
Knott's, well, technically, Knott's is not quite open yet. They officially opened to the public on the 21st. They have a 2-week pass holder preview, which is, I went on Thursday, the 6th, and then we are going back on a week from today, on Saturday, the 15th. We'll be there.
Yeah.
And,
Which
so-
you'll be seeing this on the 15th. So I do things a week behind. Or a week after. I film
So
and
yes,
then
so when this gets posted, we will be at
Knott's Berry Farm.
Her
Yeah.
first time as a pass holder,
Yes. And first
Experience
time
in the
with
park.
rides.
and the
Since
first time with rides since
the last time I went to Knott's with rides was in May of 2018. I don't know.
so like her husband knows that we're filming right
Where is he?
now.
I don't know. And he's calling. All right, decline. I'm sorry, babe.
So, anyway, we and Disneyland, when it did open, when we were there, it was the cast member
Preview.
the third night, the third day,
Which you saw last week.
which was out of the 3 previews was the hottest
Day. Yeah, it was, oh my
It
goodness,
was
it was
pretty
very
close
hot.
to 90 degrees. So we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, yes, it was very hot. And I have medical issues. I don't deal well with the heat. And I should have been drinking water like,
Speaking of drinks, while she's talking about that, I'm going to go get them.
okay. So I should have been drinking a lot of water, which I didn't. That is my fault. And I started to, I don't know, I was like, but water. Make sure you have water and realize right now you have to only drink water or anything, eat and drink anything, only in designated eating areas, which is somewhere sitting down or at a table standing up where they're designated, which means not in line.
Not in line.
None of the lines you should be drinking or eating anything at all
can't.
because
You
you
can't.
have to have your mask on.
You have to have your mask on.
So, that being said, make sure you get water in as much as you can. Plan out your day for doing a lot of sitting to refresh yourself with water.
Because I tried eating some Mickey goldfish, that Mickey shaped cheddar
That was fun.
under my mask, and it wasn't. It was really don't even try.
Yeah, don't even bother. Just make sure you plan your time accordingly because you're going to be sitting a lot to drink, eat, whatever.
Just to drink water.
Yes.
Water. And on hot days, and we're heading into summer, that's hard because as pre-COVID, you were used to
Just drinking and eating.
opening your bottle. I carry
your
water with
backpack.
me in my backpack,
And
you just
in the
open
queue.
and you drink it. You drink it in the queue. When Piper, my granddaughter, would get hungry, I open up the backpack. I feed her food. She eats in the queue. It was simple. You could walk and eat. If you wanted a Dole Whip, you could go get the Dole Whip, and you can walk and eat your Dole Whip to your next line.
And
To
you
the next
cannot do
attraction.
that.
You can't do that. You have to sit. And
At least for now.
for right now, until things change. We don't know how long that's going to be. But so for the time being, you have to think about that because we spent
I would say 2 hours for sure.
between so the cast member preview when we went for the cast member. Yeah, we ordered some drinks. We had some alcoholic beverage is over at DCA.
I had water.
She had water. I had alcoholic beverage. And I ordered on the mobile app because you can, even though it said you should, you can't. There's this purple thing that pops up. So we did that, and pretty much I ordered it and said I was here, and I went and got it. And I had to wait probably in a less than 5 to 10 minute line to get my drink and water. And then that was probably more than a half hour that we sat, 45 minutes maybe.
Right,
Hour,
because
45 minutes.
you're drinking and talking, and so you don't down it right off the bat.
No,
So
and we were also waiting for the magic 12 o'clock hour to try and get Rise of the Resistance, which we didn't get.
nope, it was gone.
It was like that.
Boom.
And so, anyways, so that was about 45 minutes. We went around, and when we'd already figured out our food.
Yes.
At that point. And so, because we had already figured out our food, when we got over to Disneyland, that's where we were getting our food. We waited, even though we were at the front of the park, and we were walking to Rose Tavern. That's what it's called, Village House.
It's Rose Tavern, yeah.
The Rose Tavern. We were at the entrance, and I said we were already at the Rose Tavern, and it probably took us almost 10 minutes to get from the front of the park where the Mickey floral picture is. Because that's what we did. We took a Mickey floral picture.
Yes.
And then walked through the castle. Jules did an intro for
Yes.
the Disneyland at the castle.
Yes.
And then we walked in through Fantasyland to get to the Rose Tavern. We still waited almost 20 20 minutes
Mhm.
for our food. So we're talking a half an hour of me telling them we're here to actually get our food. And then we had to find a place to sit.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
okay, so this Knott's has picnic tables all over the
Everywhere.
place. Knott's has
Everywhere.
plenty of seating. Plenty of seating. I would say Disney right now does not have plenty of seating, and they need to bring out more tables. They even have benches where it says designated
Designated dining.
dining. So
Mhm.
you can't just sit on a bench.
Right.
It's you have to be eating or drinking to sit on a bench right now. That's where they need to up the ante right now with this whole COVID thing. But like I said, it took about 20 minutes, a half an hour probably just to get our food. And that's no fault of Disney's. I mean, it was a lot. There were a lot of people there, but we couldn't get over there till 1, and that was at 1:15. So I mean, that could have been why. And then the second restaurant. So when we were at the Rose Tavern and I got our food, I said we were at
Galaxy's Edge.
Galaxy's Edge, some type of a vegan wrap thing.
It was the
we-
Rontolis wrap.
The Rontolis wrap. That we still had to wait once we got in there, probably about 10 minutes. So that was about a good 20-minute or so wait to get that. And we found a place to sit. But like I said, the seating, the places to eat, they need more tables. So that right there was like an hour for eating,
Right.
lunch.
And
And actually an hour and a half because we had a half hour and 20 minutes. So that's 50 minutes right there. That was just waiting
yes.
50 minutes for food.
Right.
And then another half hour or so to eat. So there was almost 3 hours we had a 9-hour day and we were late getting there. So we only had 8 hours. So 3 of it was just set on food. And then we stopped to get some water a little later. And that was about a half hour or so. So we're talking, and then we also stopped for the Dole Whip.
Oh,
which
yeah, right.
We had to
Wait in line for
wait in line for that because I said we were there, but we had to wait. And I said we were there way far back. We were walking, and it was anyways. The Dole Whip line was really
It was long.
backed up, and so that was a 15-20 minute wait. Don't you think? Because we
Probably.
walked in
The bazaar.
Adventureland Bazaar, and to kill time and go to the bathroom. So we went to the bathroom and the bazaar. So that was at least a half hour wait just for a Dole Whip. And then we had to sit and eat
the Dole Whip.
the Dole Whip. So there was probably 4 hours out of the 8 hours that we were there was all spent on drinking water and eating food.
Yes. And keep in mind, we're not complaining.
I'm not complaining. That's
We're just letting you know how it is.
to be aware.
And, yes, to be aware. And with the regulations now that they're having to uphold to is twice as much work.
The guidelines.
Yes,
Yeah.
the guidelines. And they're running on fewer staff at the moment. And I think that's all parks.
And also, not all restaurants are open
Correct.
because the capacity is low, so they can't open all the restaurants. Once capacity goes up, then another restaurant can open up, which would then open up another opportunity to eat somewhere. And so
And-
that would help ease the burden on the other restaurants that are open.
And what the cast members have to do to get us our food, or anything for that matter, if it's food, merchandise, or whatever, what they have to do just to follow the guidelines, that takes twice as long.
Mhm.
And with not as much staff, it's going to take even longer. So that's where the lines are coming from. It's not.
And I'm not complaining because Disney, we had a great time.
Mhm.
Just be aware that you have to stop just to
And
have a drink of
water. Yeah, you can't just.
You can't
Drink
drink it in
water.
line. And you can't walk and drink.
Nope.
Because you can't walk and you have to have your mask on.
Yes.
At least you're supposed to. Now, mind you, in all of them,
There
there were people that do not follow the
the rules.
guidelines. Yet
Right.
we're 14 months into this.
And
And I don't
not
understand how
all
they
the
don't.
cast members are going to catch them because
Right.
they can't. That's
It's
just
impossible.
yes.
The ratio of cast members to guests is what? Probably one cast member to 5 guests or more? I don't even know.
But they do
10?
ask if they happen to see someone. They do ask them to either whatever it is, stop drinking, go to a designated area, put your mask all the way up to your nose. and under your chin.
And it's not like people don't know, because you can hear it over the loudspeaker
Speakers
in
all day long.
all day long. You can hear it. And
Multiple times.
There's signs everywhere.
Yes.
And so it's not like you don't know. And here we are, like I said, 14 months later. If I'm sorry if people don't know. I don't know. And I'm not a mask Nazi. I don't even like the mask. But if I want to be in a place that requires it,
I'm gonna wear it.
I will wear it.
Yes.
Because I love that place. I love being there more than
The
I
mask.
hate the mask. I love Disneyland more and Knott's more. So I adhere to the
Guidelines.
The 6 feet, the markers. There's markers everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And that was another thing with the lines. The markers, they're kind of spaced a little weird. Some of them might be 12 feet apart. Because you know what? On the very next queue over,
Yeah, like
halfway between your marker and the marker in front of you is a marker right next to you
for the
that's
guests
6
on
feet
that
apart
side.
for the
of
guests on the other side of the queue.
Mhm.
So, just follow the markers. It's really simple. It's like, in kindergarten.
Oh my goodness.
I'm sorry, I'm getting sarcastic. But in
Yes.
kindergarten, when you had to stand on your little red dot or yellow dot or whatever, just stand on the line or the circle. They're all different.
And I will say this, being someone who is claustrophobic, having the queues spaced out like that was amazing.
Oh yes,
To
because you don't
me-
have anybody on you.
Yes.
And
You can breathe.
you know which guests I'm talking about that I have to stand right next to you. And you're
You're
like,
like-
I don't even know you.
Yeah. It's like, I have a bubble. Please stay outside of my bubble.
Yeah.
And that appeased me. It was so nice. I really do hope that they keep that kind of a guideline. Maybe not quite 6 feet, but
Right.
definitely a few feet. Even if it's just 1 feet or 1 foot. 1 feet. 1 foot. I don't care. As long as there's a little bit of a bubble in between parties. Because that was so nice.
It was
for
very
me.
nice. It was nice. I will say, I went to the first day of the premiere or Castle Door preview for Knott. I was fortunate. I got a 10 o'clock reservation because Knott's is spacing their reservations every half hour.
Yes.
So, if it's not your reservation time, you can't get in.
Nope.
They did open up the gates at probably 9:50, and so we kind of got to get in a little bit early. That first few hours, definitely before noon, it was, I was pretty much walking on everything. The lines were long, only because you got 6 feet between everybody. But 20 minutes max. I was there from 10 to 2, and I got on 6 attractions, but I did one of them twice, so technically 7 rides. And my longest wait was lunch. It was a 40-minute wait, I should say. But it was my fault. I realized I should probably eat, and it was 12:40. And so that was all my fault. I went at peak lunchtime. So if you're at Knott's Berry Farm or Disneyland, I would probably recommend eating before 11 and waiting till after 2. Because that noon to 1 is definitely
A high peak area.
which everybody, obviously, you think I've been going to theme parks my whole life. I worked at Disneyland. You would think I would have remembered that, but you would think I would have realized that. Note to self: don't go to lunch when it's lunchtime.
Lunchtime.
Go before or after. Definitely. But everybody was very helpful. The cast members in all of the events were happy to have us there.
Yes.
Of course, we were happy to be there.
Right. And I can't wait to go to Knott's.
Mhm.
Now, my time is actually at noon, so I'll be going in right at the peak time when everything starts to get busy, but that's fine. It's all good. We'll still have a blast. We'll just not eat right when we get there.
Nope.
I mean, I wouldn't want to eat right when I get there anyway. Well, I hope you enjoyed our little discussion.
Yep.
Oh, and I should say, right now, as of the time of filming this and when it'll be uploaded, all California parks are mostly limited to California residences.
Oh, yeah.
unless you have a full vaccination card 2 weeks prior to your day of visit. Go to the park's websites and get all of that information, because as of I believe Disney isn't allowing any out of state guests yet. Whether or not they can prove, I don't know. I know that they were saying when Disney reopened that some cast members were carding people, some weren't. It might just be a random thing. So, but if I were someone from out of state, I just wouldn't push it. To be honest, because I wouldn't want to
Spend that money.
spend the money and then
You can't go.
get let down because I got carded. I just wouldn't do that. But anyways, hopefully in the next couple of months, that will start to dissipate and out-of-state guests will be able to return to the parks. But
right now we love it. I'm not gonna lie. It's nice having lower capacity.
well, the capacity would still be the same. Although, as it's progressing,
Okay.
the capacity is going up.
The capacity will go up, but when probably allow that out of staters. So.
Yeah, true. So, but anyways, I hope you enjoyed our little discussion and enjoyed our information. Remember, gravity works, guys.